Good evening, everyone. This is Daniel R. speaking, and this is my overall review and reflection of my experiences in making my film Cosmic Emissary. I'm going to use 4 questions in total for this review. Number 1. How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? To be honest, it doesn't exactly break or enforce any conventions, and it doesn't represent any groups or issues either. Unless you're talking about children, which in that case would be how they see the world, like the moon or your friends and family and such, which is shown here within the bathroom scene. Number 2. How does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text? It engages with the audience by using spectacle and mystery. This is done by showcasing the monsters and the blood moon, which in itself is to be creepy, but also something unnatural. And while it is natural, it doesn't happen often, which is why it's so unusual for this movie. This is shown during the beginning scenes of the movie, specifically the ones where it shows the main character sleeping and eventually waking up in a panic. This is then followed up by them looking up at the moon through their window, which is also interrupted when the sink randomly turns on, which is impossible to do unless you have someone in your house, or it's a dream. In all honesty, the reason why I made the movie about dreams was because I thought it was a cool concept that could be used very well in a horror movie setting, especially with eldritch horrors and stuff. The monsters themselves can be used to represent many things. However, I choose them to embody the mysteries of the universe and the cosmos, hence the name Cosmic Emissary. I originally thought about having the character toss and turn during their sleep with screaming in the background, but that couldn't fit in the video as it was already long enough as is. So instead, I just decided to zoom the camera onto their face, specifically onto their eye, as it cuts to the main character waking up. Some other scrapped scenes I had that would be in the film would be the main character running away from the beast. In this one, it had the main character running away in the opposite direction as the monster chased them. Unfortunately, the camera was too shaky as it ran, and it didn't really work. During the chase sequence, mainly as he ran away, I would have added some sounds of trees falling, loud stomping sounds, and roaring alongside that so as to clue in the audience that the monster was, in fact, chasing the main character. Not only that, but I had some concept ideas that I didn't get the chance to make into film, which is why it isn't being shown on the screen right now as we speak. Anyway, I had an idea about having brief flashes between the main character's eye, the moon, and the beast as a way to draw in connections between them, and possibly make the whole cosmic horror concept of it be all the more clear with the eldritch imagery, which is what I would have added into the film. Another idea I had would be to do a close-up shot of the main character looking up at the sky, to then cut to a wide shot of the main character looking at the ginormous eldritch being in front of him, floating in the sky, or have the eldritch being encompass the moon in some shape or form, like having a giant eye in the sky with the moon as its pupil. Another concept I have that would have been made into the film would be the character looking at the blood moon, and replace the background sound with whispering of some kind, cutting back to the main character looking at the moon with a blank or gleeful face, in some sort of trance before being broken out of said trance via the sink water running. The only reason why this wasn't in the film was because I had this idea a few days ago, after already turning it in as the final draft while writing the script for this CCR. Now, before I move on to the next question, I'd like to talk about my inspirations in making this film. The main inspiration would be both eldritch horror and cosmic horror, specifically from the author H.P. Lovecraft himself and his novel series. The reason why these are my main inspirations is simply because of the fact that the concept that they represent always managed to fascinate me with its intricate character designs and lore behind the narratives of his horror novels that he wrote, specifically about the Cthulhu mythos itself. As for how it would be distributed in modern media, I'd probably have it as a video on YouTube or some sort of website available to me, before transferring it onto the movie screen if and when I'd have the budget for it. Maybe it could be like a video game of some sort, or an analog horror series, or maybe it written as a novel before eventually being adapted by the film industry or loyal fans of the books I'd make. Unfortunately, this is all just speculation, as I myself have no such experience in something so skilled, such as writing a good narrative or characters, which is what I lack. Number 3. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? My production skills haven't developed per se, but it was a major increase in skill level, that's for sure. I only say this mostly because of the fact that I've never really produced anything on social media, except for the video about Cosmic Emissary itself. And while I originally planned to be the actor of the film, I didn't really have a reliable cameraman at the time, so I had to be in the place of the cameraman while somebody else took the role as the main character, that being my sibling, who is obviously the actor within this film. Number 4. How did you integrate technologies, software, hardware, and online stuff in this project? I only used CapCut mainly because it was the only website I knew about, and the one that was easiest to use, to my knowledge at least. Besides that, I used my phone to record the entire thing, as it would have taken longer to use a camera due to the fact that we would need to order one and wait for it. And at the time, I wasn't really in the mood to wait, so I had to film, and I didn't really want to waste any time while I still had the chance to film. And now we are done currently in the CCR. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.